Hi guys, let's continue with the international affairs. We have been talking about mostly Russia and Ukraine war, and then we bring a 3 point up. And the first one is that the NATO bear the prime responsibility for the war, for the beginning of the war. The second is that Putin doesn't have the right, even though NATO had some aggression. Putin doesn't have a right to invade another country. The number three is that I hope more European people would realize that their security depends on working with Russia, not fighting, not crushing Russia. Russia is a big country; it won't go anywhere. So you might as well just you know figure out a way of dealing with them, coexisting, at least peacefully. That's better than the hard war. Okay. So now let's talk about the most important international relationship, that is the between the US and China. Okay. I'm not exaggerating because there's number one and number two biggest economy in the world. You have to be very careful because if we don't handle it well, there could be fatal. I remember that the Chinese representative in the UN in defense of China did not support Russia. He said something. He said one thing. He said that if China were actually supporting Russia, the war would not be like we see today. Meaning that if China intervene and then try to take side, like with supporting Putin, then the war is probably by now should be over. That's kind of a you could read that as a threatening, but I think there's some truth in it because um, Putin's army shows some all the vulnerability and weakness, and then China we don't know yet, but I guess they do the military drill, and and they probably think that they can do a better job than Putin fighting, Ukraine or a lot of other Western volunteers in the Ukraine war. Okay, so that's just to say, I'm just saying that we don't really have strong evidence to say that China is taking side. I think so far, I believe that China is doing a good job. They pretty much stay neutral unless you show me the evidence. U.S. keeps saying that dual usage of material, and then it could be military, could be peaceful use. Well, that happens everywhere, to be honest. The other thing, speaking of the Chinese, speaking of the U.S. Paranoid, I really think that's a paranoid. Let's talk about the TikTok and lately the little red book, red note. Okay, I never actually used the TikTok, but this time there's a big wave of, like a civil, um, uh, you know, contact of the between the American people and the Chinese people. It's kind of really at the grassroots level. China has been opening the visa to like 30-day no visa to America and to a lot of G7 countries. But a visa, I mean, not everybody, a lot of Americans, they don't have the money to travel, especially to do the international travel. So, but this time, because they are talking about shutting down the TikTok, including the Supreme Court. Okay, Supreme Court has a valid argument saying that the national security is above the freedom of expression. I think that's a wrong way to put it. This morning I heard that Johnson, Speaker Johnson is saying that the real problem with TikTok is Communist Party. I can't help to mention this. You know, do you guys know that Joseph Stalin, the dictator in Russia, USSR, he once said a famous word. He says that's his evaluation of a Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Okay, he says the CCP majoring Marxism. Margarine is like, in China, in the US, very few people actually eat at a margarine, but it's actually, the real butter. Real butter is a dairy product, but margarine is man-made. It's from vegetables and sauces. So it's basically started with saying that the Chinese communists, they're not really communist, they are fake. They are not authentic. Okay, and then because authentic Marxism believe that the revolution should start from advanced capitalist economy, industrialized economy. In the mind of Marx and the Engels, they were saying that only in the advanced industrialized country would the class contradiction will be so bad that inevitably leads to the revolution and overthrow the capitalism and become a socialism and then eventually communism. But here, I'm just saying that if you, unless you're from China, or unless you study some history, you won't probably know that back then Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao, was like a student of Stalin, because he believed, even Mao would believe that his theory, his success of a revolution, is not really authentic. Okay, so they kind of like a second class citizen in the Marxism. Okay, so this one is, I'm just saying that the Chinese don't really have a very strong beliefs. Whether it's a capitalism or communism, whatever, the best way to summarize that is Deng Xiaoping says that I don't care whether it's a black cat or white cat, any cat that can catch his mouse, that'll be a good one. So that's a very pragmatic preference. However, this is a pragmatic thinking that actually saved the Chinese communists back in when the at the collapse of the former USSR. The China survived it because China was a little difficult to make changes. Okay, to this days, I don't think even inside China, I don't think many Chinese really, except probably Xi Jinping is probably one of the exceptions. Okay, uh, other Chinese they don't really care about the communism or Marxism. You know, they just want to live a better life, just like the U.S. American people. Okay, so the other argument against the China, against the crashing down of the TikTok, he says according to Speaker Johnson that the TikTok is promoting violence. TikTok is doing this, doing that. TikTok has the Communist Party committee inside TikTok. This kind of thing. I was kind of smiling. This guy, I was just saying that's it. That's all you can say about the TikTok. Is that a national security threat? Having a Communist Party committee inside the TikTok, the people. That's basically like the workers' union in the U.S. So you just really, it makes me to think that if you want to pick up on something, you can always find something. you know. So this is the let's just stop here.